Hello, hello, sweet ones, and welcome to our sacred space. I'm so glad you're here today. Whether you're listening in the stillness of the morning, or beneath the full moonlight, or even just during a moment of the in between, one breath and the next, know this: you are not alone. Let's start by taking a big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just allow this to be a place to drop in, to breathe into this space, this conversation, and to receive whatever you're meant to. This episode is for the ones who have been doing the work, who maybe feel tired or tender, who have prayed and wondered if anything hurt them, and then quietly, suddenly, realized they were already being held. Today we're going to go deep into the sacred surrender, into what it means to trust what you cannot see, into how to breathe when the path isn't clear, and into the kind of mystical, grounded presence that allows you to walk through the world knowing, I am the one I was waiting for, and I am not walking alone. Today's episode, it just feels so tender in my heart because I had such a beautiful, interesting weekend. I'll get into all of it in detail throughout this, I'm sure, but I was in Jackson Hole with my mom and my sister this weekend, and my kids are old enough now where they can stay home and do their own thing and take care of themselves and get to their own activities or whatever. But my mom heart still worries. So before I left town Friday morning, I sat in my meditation, and at the end, I just asked Source to please keep them safe, to let them feel grace around them, and all the things. And as I finished my prayer, I felt a deeper knowing than ever before. Just this, it felt really tangible, like in my soul. Of course, I'll keep them safe. And I believed those words. And because I believed those words, I never thought about their safety or their joy this weekend. And it was just a really beautiful feeling. And it also allowed me to sink deeper into my own safety and joy. And I share that with you because I think sometimes that we wait for these big, bold answers, and sometimes it's a quiet knowing that our prayer has been answered. And we have a lot going on right now in the field, where today, if you're listening to this on the day of the Scorpio full moon, there's a lot of energy in the air. It's a moon of truth and death and rebirth and emotional excavation. And a lot of people are feeling raw and overwhelmed and on the edge of tears or release. I want you to know, if you're feeling that way, you are not broken. You are right on time. Scorpio in particular doesn't ask for surface change. It asks for deep soul level transformation and for really letting go of what no longer fits, for breathing into the space between the end of one chapter and the beginning of the next. And this is what the sacred surrender is: not a collapse, not giving up, but softening into trust and allowing yourself to be held by the invisible. This weekend, before I dive deeper into this weekend and the lessons, I'm just going to apologize in advance for, you're going to hear me sipping my drink and clearing my throat. And I'm not going to edit it out because I just want to be here deep in this conversation with you. And also, I'm learning how to speak again after a weekend of pretty much silence in a spa and in relaxation. So I'm asking for your grace and understanding this morning. So, another moment I had this weekend was a simple prayer. As I was sitting in my hotel room, finishing up another meditation, I simply said, and I want you to notice the words that I said because it wasn't elaborate. It wasn't even voiced out loud. It was just this: please meet me where I am. And the universe did. And again, it wasn't in fireworks. It wasn't with thunder, but it was with quiet, unmistakable grace. I felt something sacred shift inside my body. I felt held more than I ever have before. I felt seen. I felt something rearranging itself inside of me. And I realized in that moment that I've been trying to earn my peace again. I've been trying to work for what was already available. The breath brought me back. The presence anchored me. And that simple prayer opened the door to the support I forgot I already had. Last week was very busy for me. And even though I did my morning meditations, there wasn't an intense amount of sacred pausing between because there just wasn't a lot of time for it. Breath was really all I had last week to lean into. And so as I had this big flow of space and availability, it was like this sacred reset, like this moment to pause and see all the ways that I was already held. And I want you to remember that you are already held. So we're going to go deeper into surrender today, into surrendering into that knowing, into the knowing that we're held, into the knowing that our prayers or desires or hearts are answered. Surrender isn't anything passive. It's a sacred posture. To surrender is to trust what you cannot see. To surrender is to say, even if I don't know how this ends, I know who I am. But real surrender is a nervous system experience. It happens in the body, in the moment we unclench, in the exhale after a long breath. Let's pause here. Let's take another deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Hold. Exhale slowly and let go. The breath is the bridge between control and trust. It is the portal through which the sacred enters. Another experience I had this weekend was I've been working through some hip and knee stuff. I'm not really sure what happened, but I've had some pretty intense pain in my hip and knee for a couple of weeks. And this weekend, after a beautiful hike in Jackson, my knee and hip really flared up. And I was blessed enough to be able to have some really thorough massages all weekend. But with the massage came just that really kind of good achy pain. And I remember as each time that pressure point in my hip was pushed, just taking this big deep breath, and I felt the pain alchemizing through my body. I felt myself surrendering and letting go. And when I unclenched those muscles, when I didn't try to control the pain or bear down on the pain, but really just allowed myself to open and befriend it, I felt everything mix and alchemize inside of my body. And there was this really soft release. And it's the same thing in life when we're trying to bear down and control and our jaws are clenched and we're worrying and we're trying to figure out every solution from our human perspective. we can actually block any of our higher selves work from coming through because there's just not space for that to come through. But when we can find our breath, we create sacred space. And so if you can do anything today, focusing on your breath would be an absolute gift. And I mean big, deep breaths all throughout your day and any moment you can, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let's actually drop into the body together right now. If you're in a space where it's safe, you can close your eyes. And if you're not, you can keep your eyes open and just try to breathe with me. I want you to let your spine lengthen. Let your shoulders soften. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Visualize yourself walking through a misty doorway. Behind you is what you've been carrying. Ahead of you is what's unknown but calling you. Step into that in-between space. Feel the breath tether you to the now. And let that moment be enough. Again, breathe in and out. And if you feel called, repeat after me. I am safe in the mystery. I am held by the invisible. I surrender with power, not fear. Beautiful job. Before we move on, I'll remind you that Wednesday will be a powerful guided activation that will help you move deeper into this. It's called the Breath Between Worlds, and it's a really beautiful, potent activation that was recorded in this full moon energy. And it's just such a beautiful way to deepen into that sacred presence. But today I want to give you some ways to really ground this knowing into your life. So here are 3 ways you can deepen your sacred reset. Number 1, anchor into gratitude. Each morning before anything else, whisper, thank you. Even if it's for breath, for warmth, for one single quiet thing. Thank you. Number 2, create a surrender altar. This can be one candle, one crystal, one slip of paper that says, I release control, or I am held. And let it be a sacred space to return to daily. Number 3, return to breath. At least once a day, pause. Take 3 slow breaths, hand on heart, no pressure, just presence. These are not small practices, they are spells, they are statements to the universe that say, I trust you, I trust myself, I trust the becoming. And when we can move in that really intentional and sacred way, even the biggest problems seem to feel lighter. This human experience that we're all having gets to be what we make it. Even if it's in those small, subtle things, we know that life is happening for us. And the more that we can be in acceptance of how life is happening for us, rather than trying to control outcomes, the more grace and pleasure and deep, raw emotion we get to experience. And that deep, raw emotion, even though it can be uncomfortable sometimes, is such sacred power. We can alchemize it, we can create with it. Even our deepest griefs and despair can become some of the most beautiful and sacred blessings. Let's close our eyes again. Feel your body as sacred. Imagine a glowing thread from your crown to your heart to your belly. You are whole. You are the altar. You are already being held. Whisper these out louder in your heart. I am not waiting for magic. I am it. I am the breath between worlds. I am the prayer and the altar. Breathe into your feet. Breathe into your hips. Breathe into your chest. Breathe into your light. You don't need to be more ready. You don't need to be more perfect. You are already the one. Let the breath be your ritual. Let presence be your devotion. Let surrender be your strength. I love you guys so much. I can't explain the feeling that I feel when I see your comments or messages about what resonated, or even just see the number that gathered here today to listen. I feel such a connection to each and every one of you. So thank you for being here. And it would mean so much to me if, when you're listening to this, especially on Spotify, because I had a fun little learning opportunity, if you could just give this a 5-star review if you loved it, so that I can allow this to grace more people's presence. And as always, if you're looking to deepen into this knowing, or just want some tools that help you remember every day, I want to remind you, my book, Breathe Deep and Plan on Miracles, is a really sacred way to connect to this deeper knowing each day in the comfort of your home. And the Inner Child Oracle cards or the Inner Child Guidebook are powerful tools to help you really dive into some of the limiting beliefs or wounds that you might carry that prevent you from opening to all that you are. You can find those on links wherever you're listening to this today. Thank you all so much. And remember, you're going to have all the tools you need this week, from the meditation on Wednesday to the articles that come to your email if you're part of my Substack community, and the daily notes of inspiration that I share on Substack as well that go along with this week's theme, if you will. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week.